This is Madi with Straight Up Mortgage, and today I am going to be sharing a video from my e-course. This video is about the title company, what the title company does. I'm going to start to break down some of these videos and post it on here so it can be beneficial to you. The title company is one of those middle players. One of their duties, as you can see listed here, they help to prove the legitimacy of title. They want to verify and know who this property belongs to. So if you have a seller that is selling a house, we have to find out and we have to make sure and ensure that this property is really owned by the seller. And that's what the title company does. They prove the legitimacy of title. Like, okay, this property was bought by John Smith on December 22nd, 2017. We have everything recorded here. Proves legitimacy of title. And the second thing that the title company does is they verify liens and they clear title. Verifying liens, right? So let's say when you get a mortgage, that's a voluntary lien that is on title. Think about it even like when you have a car and you have title. Let's say if you financed your car, then whoever you're paying your monthly payment to is going to be a lien on the title of the car. Same is for mortgages and houses. Whoever is financing, let's say if it was Wells Fargo that you got your mortgage through, they would be listed on title as a lien. So one of the title company's jobs is to make sure and verify the liens that are listed on title, because I gave a voluntary lien example and talked about the mortgage company. However, there's also involuntary liens, right? So let's say if you owe Uncle Sam some money, you didn't pay your taxes, and Uncle Sam saw that you own this house. So he's like, oh, okay, so you didn't pay me my taxes. I'm going to put a lien on your property. So now if you try to refinance that property, if you try to sell that property, you won't be able to do so until you satisfy that lien that is on the property. Because when a title company runs its data search within their database to see if there's any liens on title, that tax lien is going to pop right up. Another example of an involuntary lien is like sometimes companies or corporations will put liens on your title, and you'll either have to pay it off again, or there is an option of subordination. So next week, we're going to go deeper into what a subordination is. However, I will just bring it up here since we're talking about title. Sometimes you can have more than one lien on a property. Let's say in these examples that I'm giving with the involuntary liens, let's say you didn't pay your taxes and you didn't pay some sort of corporation that is trying to get their money. You can now have two involuntary liens. Now, with these two involuntary liens, there's different positions that a lien can carry. Of course, if you're working with Uncle Sam and if you owe him money, that lien is always going to be in the first position. Tax liens always take precedence over other liens. When mortgages are involved, they take second precedence. So it's like here you're hearing of two different positions, but it could even be more than that. So let's just say we have a clean title that doesn't have any involuntary liens. Let's say we have a clean title, there's no liens on a property, but now we want to get a mortgage, so now we're doing a voluntary lien. But let's say we also wanted to get a second mortgage. A lot of people who are new to the industry, they're unaware that that's an option, that you can have a first and a second mortgage. So you have a first mortgage, which is your primary mortgage, but then you can have what is known as a second mortgage. There's two types of second mortgages: home equity loans and home equity line of credit. So again, we're going to go into that, but I just wanted to kind of give you an intro, a more understanding of what goes on, what title does in the background. Let me see here. So they verify the lien, they make sure the title is clear. And again, when we say clear, we're still talking about liens, and we're talking about making sure that everything is good with title. So some of the things that come with title as a processor, when you're told to order title, or when you're told to make sure that you have title in the file, we're talking about the title report. We're talking about the title report is also known as the title commitment. I just want to put that out there. So if you hear title report, you hear title commitment, they're the same thing. We also need the preliminary closing disclosure. We're going to go into disclosures more deeply. I think at the end of this week or early next week is when we'll really go into disclosures in more depth. But the preliminary disclosure has the fees of the title company, right? So whenever you are requiring a service from a company, there are fees that are going to be associated with what we're requesting, right? So with all of this, asking title to verify and make sure that the title is legitimate, I need a title report, the title commitment. Title's like, okay, yeah, I'll give you all of that information that you need. However, we have our price points, and we have our fees, is what I wanted to say, that are gonna be associated with all of your requests. And all of the fees are listed on title's preliminary closing disclosure. So as a processor, you need to make sure that you have this closing disclosure that has all of the fees that title is requiring in the file. Depending upon where you work as a loan processor, you may or may not have to make sure that the fees are updated. It just really depends upon the company, because sometimes the closer will take care of this, but other companies, the loan processor will take care of this. So we also will obtain the tax cert. The tax cert just shows us how much the taxes are that the borrower has to pay per year. Taxes are sometimes paid quarterly, they're sometimes paid semi-annually, and of course annually. And we also need the wiring instructions. The wiring instructions, basically when a loan is approved, right? Final approved through the underwriting department. Everything that needed to happen with that loan has happened. The loan is now ready to close. The money that needs to be sent from the mortgage company to the title company, and then it's dispersed to the borrower. So when the borrower is getting money from the mortgage company does not send it directly to the borrower. They send it to the title company, and then the title company is the middleman that disperses it to the borrower. And these wiring instructions, it has the routing number and the checking account number of the title company. So this has to be in the package. That way we know as the mortgage company where to disperse the funds to. Something that I do not have listed here that is within the title report is the CPL, or the closing protection letter. This closing protection letter is very important because there are some clauses within it that we need as the mortgage company to make sure that our borrowers insured through this title company. And when I say insured, I mean that the title is insured, that the CPL is basically saying, okay, we reviewed this title, it's a legitimate title, we verified all the liens, everything is good with it. Here's our closing protection letter saying that this loan is good to close with this title. So those are some of the documents, or those are the documents that are included within the title report or the title commitment. I will pull a title report and a title commitment. well, they're both the same thing, as I said, but I'm going to pull the report that have all of these various documents, so that way, you'll know what they look like. We'll go in deeper, but we're still going through the parties, right? So the last thing that the title company does, as I just mentioned, they conduct closing. They work with the closer, and they will have the borrower scheduled for their closing. And when the borrowers, they normally will have their closings done either at the title company or in their home or at a coffee shop. It just really depends upon what the borrower wants. Title companies, they work with notaries. That way, if a borrower does want a off-site closing, they'll send a notary out with the documents, and they'll get everything signed and taken care of. So that is the title company. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.